You are listening to the Spine Whisperers podcast. Please know that our doctors are here to only educate, not diagnose on this podcast. If you have any questions, please feel free to find us at www.mfwellness.org. Hey, welcome back to the podcast.
What's up?
We're back live and in action.
We
had a little bit of hiatus that was mostly due to me, but now we released the.
Well, we're getting
one.
Killed. Like we're getting absolutely killed. We're 20% over our established capacity. We're being literally killed, and we're short a couple doctors.
Yeah. The
podcast has definitely been pushed to the back burner.
It really is.
But now it's back and in track, and we're going to be talking about a really interesting topic: wellness. The reason behind really Fink Chiropractic becoming Midwest Family Wellness, and why we decided to add those additional two words in, the family and the wellness.
Mm-hmm.
Like, Midwest is cool, but so when we talk about family wellness, we think about having entire families in here receiving chiropractic care from the best doctors on the face of the earth, being able to get...
When they're in town.
Yes, sure. When they're in town. Being
Otherwise
able...
they have to
And
settle
haven't
for
had a
it.
baby.
Yeah,
Right.
yeah.
They've had
Otherwise
babies.
they have to settle for
Then
it.
it's just the
Old
bro
guys.
docs. This is the bro docs. But really, family wellness. It's about families coming in, getting adjusted, making sure all their health needs are met, and then we're able to guide them further along their wellness path. Now, sometimes that starts with a crippling low back injury that they come in for a day one or day two, and they don't know where to go, and they've been to all these other places. And they come in, they receive a day one and a day two from us, and we tell them exactly what's going on. We diagnose the problem, which is a subluxation that's leading to a lot of their dis-ease or disease of their spine. And that's where we start. And so when Dr. Josh really decided to, kind of go with the name change, we're really focused on why that's so important to us. Like, who cares? Why can't it be Fink Chiropractic? Well, when we look at Fink Chiropractic and the way that that name is, it's like, well, that's just one person.
Yeah.
Yeah, I was going to say, I thought it was all about me.
And one therapy.
I
I should have named it. That's what I should have done. Is
had
name
nothing
it.
to do with family and wellness. I
Brad
thought it was
Chiropractic, and then I'd be long
Ohio.
gone.
Fink
Ohio
Chiropractic.
Yeah.
What's Dr. Brad Fink doing here?
Buckeye State Chiropractic.
Oh, are these?
Yeah.
Are these your two brothers?
Yeah, and that's the thing. Like, when it's your name on it, it's like, well, what about these other people? And it's just, I feel like it just denies the recognition. In the beginning, it was. And then, now Brad's been with us since like day 3. Like he's every bit of this practice, and he had his own big practice out in Wentzville. So it's like, we need something that's going to encompass all the things we have to offer people. We had a massage, we have yoga, laser, needles, acupuncture, all kinds of stuff. And it really is a philosophy of, adjusting, but also like an education system. Like this morning, we talked to a mom, her son has this horrible, horrible stomach pains. And we went through the whole diagnosis. And it's got nothing to do with moving bones around in people's spine, and everything to do with an education on what the possible presentations are of acid reflux. And it's not just up high in the in the stomach, and then all the things, the kind of check down list for foods that the child may be sensitive to. Now that we've ruled out, like, you spent the overnight in the ER, or before that we had a guy who passed out effectively while we were going over his stuff. Like, we're not going to adjust that guy, but we're going to apply some health care to him, some emergency first aid, And then some people come in, they haven't been able to, touch their hand to their shoulder because they can't bend their elbow, or they have got a bunch of scar tissue at the base of their neck and they feel like it's bowing them over. We got massage therapy for breaking that up, or we have some people have trouble standing on one foot and they start attending our yoga classes and they just love it. And then some people, we don't adjust them at all, we just yell at them, and just the education alone is something. And so we needed a way to put all that in our name. Like, where are we? We're in the Midwest. Who do we take care of? Families. Dr. Matt and I, and Dr. Brad too, we're from huge families. And growing up, it was sometimes like, felt like you were a second-class citizen, because you were like, oh, they got all these kids, And so when we built this place, we were like, no, bring them all here. Bring them all here. Break our stuff. We don't care. We don't have anything nice here.
We break it ourselves.
We'll break it ourselves. We'll watch this.
Watch this. I'll show you.
And so it's built for families. And so there's nowhere else that I can think of. You could take your 3 kids, go in, have you, your husband, and your family get their spines checked, any questions answered, get adjusted, answer everything, design a treatment plan, and then out of there in 20 minutes. But we do it here every single day, all day. And we're built for that.
And then along with that, it's all the extra things we do. One of those events is coming up. We have the Trunk or Treat. Coming up October 28th.
Bubble Bus, bro.
Yeah, 2 to 4. And so, this is our third year.
Parking
lot's filled. Whole bunch of trunks, a bunch
jacked.
of candy.
People walk in the neighborhoods.
Dr. Josh dressed up like a baker.
I did. I did. The one from Mario Kart.
Yeah.
I'm going to do that again. I'm going to keep doing it so people get it right.
So they know you're Toad.
Ridiculous. Especially with the Mario Kart movie. You'd think people would... They better.
They'll know this year.
They better.
Sure.
This week, people have been like, how do you guys know so much stuff? Like, how can you explain that? How do you... And you look at myself and Dr. Brad and Dr. Josh and Dr. Danielle and Dr. Amanda, and all of us can adjust really well. That's not the deal.
That only
here.
gets you in the door.
That's right. It's the fact that we can sit down with a patient and we can explain to them what's going on with their body.
In human words.
That's right. And it's not just like a quick dismissal of like, hey, don't worry about that, or like, oh, this is fine. Like it.
Yeah, or like, look at us. We're going to use big words now.
Yeah.
It just does nothing for the patient.
This morning, we had a patient come in and they were like, yeah, I have some sinus stuff going on. And so we talked about the changes in sinus pressure, how that affects the pressure that's in your brain, how that affects your sinuses, how that affects being able to, comfortably sleep. And we talked about warm compresses following chiropractic adjustment.
Yeah, man.
Sinus therapy. Talk about more water, how they station to drains into the back of the throat.
The torus tuberous.
Yeah. And they were looking at me like, I thought you just adjusted bone.
Yeah. And even if that was all we did, it'd be enough, because we're so good at it at this point. It's the extra stuff. Like, it's wellness. Like, we're going to fix your spine, but like, you've got these other things you want to talk about. We'll talk about it. And that is how you fix humans. These situations where like you can only talk to the doctor about one thing, or we can only handle one complaint at a time. Man, screw that.
That's not wellness.
Go get your lounge chair. Move on in.
Yeah.
We'll take care of it. And then we do it right out there in front of everybody, because so many people have the same questions. And that's really what I like best about it. And so like we talk about wellness, like why that word? Because we're super interested in, focusing down on your complaint. What's bugging you? And then if we can fix it, making room for you here and then fixing it. And then, like, what else can we do? What do you want to talk about? Do you have a plan, for staying healthy? You just want to kind of toss it up in the air? Or people, they sometimes hear that phrase, if it ain't broke, don't fix it. And then our eyes roll back in our heads like we're those sharks on Shark Week, Like, it's just not the way to approach healthcare. Maybe back in the day when the information wasn't out there, but it is now. And so we have all these avenues of helping people. It truly is wellness. And it's not just me. It's not just Matt or Brad. It's all of us together. Everybody pitching in, Sarah and Amy. And if everybody isn't at the top of their game, then patient care suffers. And so this is a family wellness place where we take care of families. But we're also, to a great extent, a family of people. We're pretty close-knit here. And it has to be that way, or else you're not going to be able to really help other people get better.
I feel like over the last 2.5, almost 3 years, we have really streamlined how we see patients and how everyone helps out with everything.
Yeah.
Like sometimes Dr. Brad will adjust the patient, and then he'll send them over to me. I'll be waiting in the therapizing bays, and then I'll do therapy on them. And it's like it saves Dr. Brad from walking all the way over there, but I'm already ready. I already know.
And so the burden is every single person has to know what every single patient that's on our list for that afternoon or that morning needs to do. And so we spend 1 hour getting ready, going over every patient chart. So when you walk in here, we already know where you need to be. We know what therapies you need. We know what needs to be done. And so that burden is that it's not one doctor with their one patient. It's all the doctors with all the patients. And that's the way it has to be if you're going to give out insanely good care. Insanely fast. Because when you're remodeling spines, that's not something you do just once. It takes time. And to be able to provide that kind of consistency and not have where you're in the office for an hour, that is our burden. It's our biggest responsibility, and it's one that we really work hard to achieve.
When someone has a question, most of the time we can answer it. If we can't answer it, we make sure we get their email address and we address it at a later time.
Yeah, that's true.
Yeah. And what's nice too is that we have, like back in the day, we just had these travel cards and no computers. Now we can actually, like, let's say we have something we need to look up, we can walk right over to our computers.
Yeah, that was unintended.
Print out some stretches.
Yeah, that was unintended, but that's great.
Yeah,
it's so cool.
Step into my office and you're literally right next to them.
Wall-mounted computers. Like, I'll show you.
Or like when we first started with X-rays, we just had a view box.
Right.
Well, now it's on a TV that's hooked to the internet. So if we want to show them another example of someone with that particular issue in their spine,
I love it.
We can reference it. So
yeah, it really has.
Technology has helped out with that.
Yeah,
for sure.
So the wellness part of our name, I focus on how do I make this person better? How can I instruct them? How can I educate them so that they can take care of things and be more self-reliant and more independent? People hate to go and look up exercises for themselves. They hate it. They like, if you ask somebody like, hey, do some stretches, they go, which ones? And it's never like, I'm going to go look up these stretches that he told me about. People need guidance. They want guidance. They're in here for a reason. So the wellness aspect of Midwest Family Wellness is the educational system that we all bestow to our patient.
Yeah, we only see them for a small percentage of time throughout their whole week. So we need to provide them with the resources they need in order to stay healthy. The stretches.
Absolutely.
We get questions about nutrition. We get the workout plan, all that stuff.
All of it, man.
We want to provide them with the resources because, we only see them for, some people, 15 minutes a week. Some people, 15 minutes every 2 weeks, something like that. So all the rest of the time, they need to be the ones who are managing their own health.
Yep.
So and we give them the resources for that.
And we have so much propaganda that we have here at the office that either outline the stretches that you need to be doing, the sinus therapy stuff that we do on people during the changes in seasons. Like we have that printout.
Over the past 20 years, we've had most of the questions, so we try to be as prepared as we can. So
it's hard to get new ones.
Midwest Family Wellness. That was the reason behind the name change and why we kind of we're all on board with it. Mm-hmm. And so our practice, we treat families that are looking towards bringing everybody in their circle to wellness. Mm-hmm. Thank you for tuning in. This is Dr. Matthew Fink, Dr. Brad Maurer, Dr. Joshua Fink.
I'll see you later.
If you have any questions, please email me at...
My phone didn't beep.
Not yet.
Dr. Matt at mfwellness.org. All right, catch you later.
All right.
A big thank you goes to Hug Monster Sound for all the hard work they put into making us sound so great.